A very good day to you, dear servants of the Most High, and I do trust you had a wonderful weekend, and we did really give space and time to all and for all to discuss on the subject of deliverance. Remember, we are not going to be answering questions which are off topic. We'll only specifically answer questions concerning the subject under discussion. This will bring a bit of order so that we don't divert so much from what we are supposed to be studying. With you once more is Professor Augustine Deke, and some have been asking, is it really necessary to spend time studying on the background of the source of the problem, which has been caused by the devil himself? And the answer is yes, and correct. History is vital in life. Any discipline, you go to university, you go anywhere. If you need to further do development of any study or subject, you first need to understand the history of any particular topic. So, basically, history makes us understand the world in a better way. History, we understand human development if we go back into history. History always and also teaches us to be better people. So you see, why we're studying the history and the source of the problem, which now we're talking of deliverance. After having studied this subject, we become more informed and better people. History improves our thinking. History teaches us about the past incidents. History gives us timelines of events, and this helps us understand the cycle of events. History also gives us wisdom, as it warns us in a number of ways. So, if you ignore history, you must make sure you be ready to face the consequences. Understand the history of the place where you got married. Understand the history of where you are going to marry. Understand the history of the company you may be thinking of going to work for. So basically, that's why we have dwelt a lot on the history of the devil and his background. So, let's go further and study on the demonic activities. Last segment we spoke on the characteristics. Today let's look more on the activities. The enemy is an organized and structured system. If you read Ephesians 6, verse 12, which talks of principalities at the top, powers, rulers, spirits in high places, and children of disobedience. If you read the chapter 6 of Ephesians. So, this structure is designed to influence all areas of humanity. So the powers of darkness have designed a very efficient structure in which to use for its operations. So, Satan's structure is designed also to manipulate affairs, infiltrate philosophy, all forms of learning and human activity at every level. Thus, the spirits in high places endeavor to tempt to deceive, to accuse, to condemn, to oppress, to defile, to hinder, and resist, even to oppose, control, to steal, to kill, and to destroy. Thus, we must always remember to spot the real enemy when we are in a place of turmoil or frustration. So, the enemy of God and man tries to get hold of individuals. Not only individuals, but let's look at the structure. The enemy controls continents. Look how the continents, the Eastern continent, the Western continent, Europe, Africa, India, and other continents. So the enemy, if you look at all these continents which I've mentioned, you'll pick that each continent has a special highlight on demonic activities controlling those continents. For example, the Western continent, the problem of human rights and how the word of God is now pushed out of society. You check the continent of Europe, how the church is suddenly being fizzled out and pushed out of society because of all the funny sorts of belief systems which are now being accepted to be normal. And major churches are beginning to break and crack in these continents which I've mentioned. Check the continent of Africa. It has its own problems. All these problems within all these continents are controlled and initiated by these powers of darkness. Maybe let's look at the characteristics of demon activities. From the continental level, from the national level, from the district level, up to the lowest community, and least up to the family. Demons entice. We need to know that as students of deliverance, demons entice. They persuade people to do evil. Usually, they encourage people in different forms which they attract people into their activities or the evil activities. It might be through friends, it might be through a voice, it might be through other sources of influence. But at the end of the day, as a student of deliverance, we need to understand that demons, they entice people into committing evil. Demons, they harass. They engineer situations that will open the way for them to slip in, causing us to lose control and open ourselves up to demons of anger and so forth. They can harass a person through unnecessary illnesses. They can harass people through loss of finances every month, and you get sickness in the home. They harass these demons. Demons also torture. They torture. For example, if you read Matthew 18:34, this is implied even to all Christians. The torturers are demons through unforgiveness. These torturers, they cause a lot of unforgiveness, which is a result of a lot of breakdowns which goes on between human relationships. You see, this could be physical torture, such as diseases, maybe arthritis, crippling, binding, blindness, mental torment, fear of insanity, inner accusation. In most forms, demons, they torture. Remember, not all sicknesses are caused by physical or natural causes. Some sicknesses are demon-driven, especially if they are cyclical. When I mean cyclical, you have a specific day and time when the sickness comes. And it's common within the family that when a particular time comes, the sickness is there. So at times, demons, they cause sicknesses so that they torture whoever the subject of that sickness will be. So, not all sicknesses, as I've said, are demon-driven. But even those which are natural, some end up attracting demons to be part of the process of the sickness. And demons, they compel. Behind most compulsions is a demon. Compulsive smoking, compulsive drinking, compulsive drugs. You see, when they compel people, for example, into drugs, when a person reaches a point of distraction, they take total control and siege. And we end up taking such people for the physical treatment and so forth. But the damage would have been done already. Compulsive eating is something considered more respectable, yet gluttony is a sin. Talking can be compulsion that can open the door to gossip and criticism. So these things, the demonic world works very hard to compel Christians, to compel non-believers into many various ways of doing evil acts. And demons, they enslave. Demons, they cause addictions. I've already spoken on addictions. Demons, they defile. Demons, they deceive. If you read 1 Timothy 4:1, they deceive. And lastly, demons, they attack the physical body of human beings. And these are the major characteristics which we need to understand as students of deliverance. How demons are structured, how they operate. They use global institutions to project evil into continental regions. From continental regions at national level, you find evilness also continuing up to provincial, then district, then family, then suffering is then felt by most people. So what am I saying here? That's the structure which demons use to operate, and they use people. And then secondly, they then formulate their activities from family level, from community level, from district level, from national level, regional, continental, and so forth, so that they can achieve their agenda. For today, I sign off. Yours, Professor Augustine Deke. Once more, I want to thank one lady from Harare who has sponsored the data for what we have covered so far. May God bless you, and may God continue to meet your needs. I sign off. Yours, Professor Augustine Deke.